All right, we are going to look at 5 and 6. A couple of things to jot down before we even get started on 5 and 6 is some rules. These are also some rules you are going to want to list out on your formula sheet or your card whenever you take your final exam. I will also put these on your formula sheet for when you take your test. All right, so this is for finding horizontal and vertical asymptotes of a rational function. So here are your rules. If n is less than m, the horizontal asymptote is going to be y. Oh my gosh. It's going to be y equals 0. If n equals m, the horizontal asymptote is going to be y equals the leading coefficient not even playing myself. Move that over. It's going to be y equals the leading coefficient of the numerator. Divided by the leading coefficient of the denominator. Okay, so that's for n equals m. If n is greater than m, then the horizontal asymptote is going to be none. There will be no horizontal asymptote. All right, let's get it. So, first off, look at what we have. We have negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 6 divided by 2x minus 3. The first thing we have to do is to simplify that numerator. You must simplify that numerator. So in order to simplify that numerator, we are going to factor. So I noticed my numerator has a negative 2 in common. So I'm just going to rewrite this to factor out that negative 2. Okay, now I can begin solving. A is 1, B is negative 2, C is negative 3. You know how to do this. We've done this numerous of times. A times C is negative 3, B is negative 2. You're looking for two numbers that are going to multiply to get you negative 3, but also add to get you negative 2. Negative 3 and 1. So now I'm just going to bring everything down. X squared minus 3x plus 1x minus 3. We're pros at these. We can do this in our sleep. Do you have twins? That's what we like. The other factor is coming from your GCF. Don't forget about that negative 2 that we had in the beginning. Now this is simplified. All right. Take that denominator and set it to equal 0. Feel free to pause the video to do it. you should have gotten x equals 3 over 2. What you have just found is your vertical asymptote. You found your vertical asymptote. So go ahead and graph that. It's going to be somewhere in here. Okay, let's find our horizontal asymptote. The horizontal asymptote says you're going to take the degree of the numerator, which is 2, and divide it by the degree of the denominator, which is 1. So our numerator degree was 2, our denominator degree was 1. Looking at that, using the rules that we wrote at the beginning. Is n less than m? Does it equal m? Or is it greater than m? N is greater than m. Therefore, there is no horizontal asymptote for this question. Okay. Moving on to number 6. Similar to what we just did, but we got a little lucky. We don't have to simplify this because it's already simplified for us. So here we go. Let's first find the vertical asymptote. To find the vertical asymptote, you are going to take your denominator and set it to equal 0. Again, feel free to pause the video to go ahead and solve this. Your vertical asymptote should have been negative 3 over 2. Let's find the horizontal asymptote. The horizontal asymptote says to find the degree of the numerator, which is 1. Find the degree of the denominator, which is 1. When I say degree, I'm talking about the exponents, guys. Is this less than m? Is the numerator less than the denominator? Does it equal the denominator, or is it greater than the denominator? You guessed it right. They are equal. So that means I'm going to take the leading coefficient of the numerator, which is 3. I'm going to divide that by the leading coefficient of the denominator, which is negative 2. And that is your horizontal asymptote. So I can graph that right here. But then also the problem asks us to find 2 points. So I'm looking for, I think the easiest 2 points would be the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So let's go ahead and find the y-intercept. And if I'm looking for the y-intercept, that means that x has to be 0 to get my number. So everywhere I see a x, I'm going to put a 0. I'm taking this from my problem. Three times 0 is 0 plus 6 is 6. 2 times 0 is 0 minus 3 is negative 3. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2 as your y-intercept. Let's find your That means that y has to be 0 for you to find some number. So here we go. 0 equals 3x plus 6. We're using the top equation. We're going to subtract 6. Negative 6 equals 3x. X equals negative 2. Your x-intercept is negative 2. Type this in decimal so you can see what the exact graph looks like, but you have your vertical and horizontal, and you have your 2 points.